So Jayson Tatum is one of the most polarizing figures we have seen in the NBA. If you ask different NBA fans out there, some fans are going to stick with Tatum no matter what. Other fans are going to say he's a glorified role player, that he's carried by the Boston Celtics organization, that Jaylen Brown is better than Jayson Tatum, and that Tatum isn't a top 5 player and he shouldn't even be top 10 whatsoever. So there's different conversations, different opinions. Now, one of them was from Brandon Jennings from the Ghost Arena podcast. I think he said it a couple weeks ago that Jayson Tatum is the softest player in Boston Celtics history. That when you're looking at guys like Larry Bird, Paul Pierce, John Havlicek, Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, Jayson Tatum is softer than all of them. That because of Jaylen Brown winning Finals MVP, that's why he labels Tatum as soft. But what is the criteria for being soft? Shouldn't it be somebody who's scared to go to the basket, who is afraid of the physicality when it comes to the playoffs? Like, how are we judging that? Because if we're judging it just based on the Finals MVP award, well, we can go to a list of guys where they didn't win it right away. Like a Kobe Bryant, where Shaq won it 3 straight years and Kobe didn't win the Finals MVP, I believe, until 2009. Like, he didn't get it for a long time in his career. Does that make him a soft player? No, Kobe Bryant is not a soft player. The man is tough. He is unafraid. He doesn't care who's in front of him, and he will take your soul, whether you like it or not. Then you have a guy like Stephen Curry. Now, there's a lot of conversations about him before he won Finals MVP, but do I label Steph Curry as a soft basketball player where he's running through screens and have to handle the physicality of the defense and shoot those 3-point shots, and all of a sudden he's labeled soft because Iguodala won Finals MVP over him? I don't understand the criteria because that doesn't make any sense to me. I think if you're looking at Jayson Tatum as a basketball player, does he play a little bit too much from the perimeter? Yes, I think too many 3-point attempts. I would love to see him down to 6 or 7 a night because when he goes downhill and puts his head down, he's pretty good at finishing at the rim. I like to see him have a better package of moves at the rims because sometimes it looks a little clunky. But at the end of the day, to call a man soft, what are we doing here? Now, I want to play the clip from Brandon Jennings and what he had to say, and I'll give you more of my thoughts on this whole conversation.
Oh, yeah. Yo, while I'm on my rant, hey, Jayson Tatum's trainer. Yo,
Jayson Tatum?
He had an issue with me saying that Jayson Tatum was soft, one of the softest Boston Celtics superstars ever.
Uh-oh, Mr. Big Time.
Oh, shit.
Since you're his trainer, make sure he gets Finals MVP this year.
Ooh.
And I heard you wrote a book talking about, like, stop. I'm going to write part 2 if he don't get it.
If he do.
If he don't.
But if he do.
I mean, if he do, he's.
I mean, it's very likely that he's going to win Finals MVP.
Okay,
if they're in the finals, they're going to win. He's going to win Finals.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Because the Finals MVP last year, his stats was
How if they lose to the Lakers, could he win Finals MVP?
Facts.
I mean, that's
It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
That's not even guaranteed. But I'm just saying, you know.
Mr. B, crash out
Since
time.
his trainer has a lot to say, like, you know, is your client the top 5 Boston Celtic player ever? Like, don't come for me. Make sure you get your top Boston Celtics player ever.
You don't think he is?
Top 5? You better go do your homework.
I mean, but that's not something.
If he wins,
I mean, even if he wins, I mean, his other boy.
who's after is Bird?
Damn.
I mean, what you saying?
Hey, no, don't go down.
I mean, Jaylen Brown.
Go down that road.
I mean, Jaylen Brown might be a top 5 Boston Celtics.
Do that if we don't.
Shot!
I'm taking.
We don't know. Let's not do
Robert
it. Huh? If we don't know, we're not gonna talk like we know and we don't know.
Oh,
I'm gonna take.
Boston got a lot of legends.
I'm not taking.
I mean,
Boston
got a lot of
taking over right now.
I mean, he's 26.
That's what I'm saying. By the end of his
Jaylen Brown is
career,
how old?
he might be over.
Jaylen Brown is how old? Who? Over who? Over who?
Over Paul.
Mr. B has entered the building. Mr. B is here.
Paul now, damn it.
Come on, man. Paul, stop.
The truth?
I'm not. I said by the end of his career.
Said the truth though.
By the end of his career.
Key too.
I know one thing. Paul Pierce would never let anybody else get Finals MVP, nor Larry Bird. I don't know what.
Whoa! Someone did get Finals MVP against Larry Bird when Larry Bird won an MVP. He was MVP that year and didn't win Finals MVP.
So name the
because they
top
lost
5.
his magic. Just saying. I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna be here.
Name the top 5 Boston Celtics.
What Maxwell
Right now.
MVP when Larry Bird was
Top 5.
Maxwell?
Who's the 5 Boston Celtics?
Oh yeah, Maxwell. Yeah.
Gotta go Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
Yeah, Maxwell. Someone did win Finals MVP with over Bird.
Did?
Yeah.
1981.
Mikal?
No.
And
1981.
Yeah. I'm tripping. That was over Bill.
Little D-Lo, but let's keep this thing moving. Let's talk about.
No, that's just a hell of an argument. No, what I'm saying is that's just to be honest, that's kind of a bad statement a little bit.
What's a bad statement? The softest?
No, yeah. He ain't top 5. Like to throw that out there.
I mean, we'll prove it.
Like but top 5. Like
that's my opinion. But in a Boston Celtics uniform, that's my opinion.
But what I'm saying is, it's top 5 still.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? That's like.
I mean, Jaylen Brown is top 5 Boston Celtics ever.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, he got the hardware to show it in that jersey.
I'm just keeping
Get one, buddy. Get one.
This whole thing is just blown out of proportion to me because at the end of the day, he won a championship. He's got a long receipt where he has responded to moments where his team was down, especially in the second round against the Milwaukee Bucks. He went into Milwaukee and won them that game 6. He didn't play well in game 6 against the Sixers. And all of a sudden he comes back to Boston, drops 50 points into game 7, and they go on to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I don't know how we're defining soft these days. What is the conversation here? Is he a dog? Maybe not with his personality. And that's the thing, like Nick Young said it too, that he don't like the way Tatum is out there, how he doesn't express himself, but that's just who Jayson Tatum is. I think we have gotten carried away with this aura conversation. Tatum's just a laid-back guy, and he just wins basketball games. Sure, does he always do it the right way? No. Would you like to see him more in the paint? Of course. I think he should be playing more in the post. But to label a guy who led the team last year in points, rebound, and assists as a soft guy, I don't know about all that. I think Tatum, yes, he's had his moments where he has failed, but he's also had moments where he has shown up, just like every superstar out there. And, I think he also mentioned in one of the other episodes that Kevin Garnett is a dog and that, he wouldn't let that happen to him, but he never won Finals MVP. Tim Duncan at one point didn't win a Finals MVP and he lost it to Tony Parker. Is he suddenly soft because Tony Parker and Kawhi Leonard, and I know Tim Duncan was older in his career, but those guys won Finals MVP. Is Tim Duncan soft? So I don't get the criteria. I think it's just more of like clickbait in my opinion. And, Tatum just has to keep going out there and showing to people that he belongs in these top 5 conversations and that, let's say they go to the finals and it's going to be a hard road. I'm not going to lie. Even as a Celtics fan, they got to go to the Cavs and that's going to be a hard series. And then if you play OKC in the NBA finals, that just seems like a toss up at this point. But let's say Tatum, he gets there again. His averages in the finals go to his normal range of 20 to 30 a night. He's getting you 12 boards and 5 or 6 assists. And he outplays or matches SGA and he wins Finals MVP. Then what are we going to do? So I just think the conversation around Tatum are just weird at this point. The guy has an NBA championship. I mean, if you mean to tell me that you would never want Jayson Tatum on your team, I'd call you crazy because he wins games. And you could say like he's been gifted with a great franchise, but that's not his fault. He got drafted to Boston, and they didn't become title contenders until after they lost in the NBA Finals. That's when everybody said, okay, this team should win a championship. Before that, the team was not that good. If you go watch them, they didn't have a really great roster yet. They were still building around Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum. People were saying they got to break them up constantly because they didn't have a great core around them. And it took time to build it. They had to trade Marcus Smart. They had to trade Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams III, just to have this roster that's in front of them now. So I don't get the whole narrative about, he was gifted all these players when a GM has to do their job. You know what I mean? Like, that's not his fault. He still has to go out there and execute and play good basketball and win at the highest level. He's an NBA champion. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Now, would it be nice if he could win MVP? It'd be cool, but he's just competing with just generational talent. Like a Jokic, he's competing with SGA. You're competing with Luka Doncic. When he's healthy, he would be in those conversations. Wemby's now up and coming. It's just an era where Tatum's just dealing with so many talented players. Doesn't mean he's a bad player, is a bust. He just is putting up with guys who are putting up unbelievable numbers. And I don't want to figure out Joel Embiid because when he's healthy, Embiid's a major problem, especially in this regular season. So, yeah, I mean, Tatum, like the soft conversations, I don't like it. I think if you're going to say someone's soft, if he was like shrinking every time, yeah, but I know he's had his moments where he's been inconsistent. But there's been other times where he has shown up when you need him most. So you got to give him flowers for that. And he did close out the Mavs. I know it was a game 5, and you could say he had a super team, blah, 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 but he tried to get the job done and close that series. I know he didn't shoot the ball really well, but in closeout games, Tatum does show up more often than not. He doesn't disappear. Now, if you want to bring up the Miami Heat game 7 last year, He got hurt in at the opening minutes of that first quarter, and he probably would have gone off for 40 points if his ankle wasn't swollen up. You can say, oh, that's soft because you're not playing through it, but we don't know the severity of that injury. And at this point in Tatum's career, if I'm him, man, just block out the noise, go out and hoop, and please play more in the post. Because if you do that, and I think if Tatum was playing more in the mid-range game, the conversation would be so much different about him, but he doesn't do that enough. I think if he was more of like an SGA type player where he was relying on his mid-range game and shooting better from that area, or just, taking more attempts, we wouldn't be having these discussions right now, in my opinion. So yeah, what do you guys think about what Brandon Jennings had to say? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.